Hello everyone, Ralph Cepeda here. I'm a prevention specialist with Behavioral Health Solutions. Today we're going to be doing a cigarette butt cleanup here at a park locally here in FAR. I am going to wait a little bit though so we can see if more people jump on. So let's just go ahead and wait a little bit. As we're waiting, I do want to go over a little bit of the guidelines that have been set here locally. We'll see here that there is a sign giving you a little bit of restrictions as far as like what you can and can't do at a public park, at least for the city of FAR right now. Different parks have different restrictions, different guidelines, but we want to make sure that we are following the ones that are specifically local to us. So let's go ahead and take a walk here and just so you guys can see a little bit of the restrictions in the park. So again, before we do start the cleanup, I do want to concentrate a little bit on this. Obviously the play areas and any sport that involves any physical contact has been deemed dangerous, and so that's been restricted for right now. So with this cigarette butt cleanup, if you and your family or your friends do decide to do any kind of cleanup, we do advise you to take the necessary precautions. I know that yesterday was Earth Day, so there was a lot of cleanup efforts, and again, just follow the necessary precautions. Right now, we are going to get started, so I am going to go over a little bit of the materials that you are going to need for the cigarette butt cleanups. So this is a very simple activity. Basically all you're going to need is going to be your gloves. Obviously you don't want to pick up anything and come into contact with anything that is hazardous or even sharp. Another material, and again, this is very simple, like all these materials are very cheap, and you can just find them, locally at any store. Most of the times when we used to do our cigarette butt cleanups with our youth group, we used to find them at the Dollar Tree. So it's not a very expensive activity, and obviously if you're doing something for your community, you're picking up, litter, you're picking up, you're making the city look a little bit better. It's definitely worth it. Another one of the materials that you are going to need is going to be a baggie. This is just so you can pick up the cigarette butts that are littered here. And then for right now, like I said, we are following or trying to follow the CDC guidelines, which is if you're going to be in contact with anybody, you're going to want to have a mask on you just in case you do come into contact with somebody. Now, first, for the cigarette butt cleanups, one of the things that we do is we do scout the parks before we head out here. We come out to the parks and we look to see the areas that are littered with the most cigarette butts. Obviously, any kind of picnic bench or tables, they're going to be places where people just sit down and relax. So here we can actually see on the floor, there's already one that I'm seeing. I'm just gonna go ahead and put my mask. I'm not gonna wear it just so you guys can hear me properly. So again, with these cigarette butt cleanups, very simple. You're just walking around the park. Maybe you already scouted the park, so you find the locations where you see the most, and it's very simple. Just pick it up, put it in. I did see some getting off of my vehicle. Now in these areas, when you are out here for the cigarette butt cleanups, you are going to see that some of them are kind of hidden. I guarantee you, if you move around this dirt, like if you kick around this dirt, you will find more. We're not going to do that right now just for the sake of time management. But like I said, you will see these scattered everywhere. I think we've become so used to seeing them littered that we don't even pay attention to them. It varies on how many you are going to find depending on the parks that you go to. With our youth group, when I was with Tobacco Prevention and Control Coalition, our main focus was to work with tobacco ordinances with the cities. We used to organize cigarette butt cleanups like on a weekly, monthly basis. And so with our youth group, we were able to go to different parks and clean up the areas. Like I said, around the picnic tables, around benches, this is where people just sit down and relax. They just throw the cigarette butts away. Going back to the youth group, we did pick up a park. We did pick up cigarette butts at a park here in Pharr previously, HEB park on South Cage, and so on that park we ended up picking up close to 1,000. I think the number was like 890 something cigarette butts, and that was just in one location, and it was with about 6 or 7 middle school students. And so you do see quite a high number. So here in the play areas, around the play areas, you will find cigarette butts. It is kind of a challenge because of the mulch that they use out here. So I'm not going to spend too much time, but see, there's one out here. Again, the main reason why we're going to focus on these areas is that kids play in this area. Just so that y'all know, cigarette butts, they are not biodegradable. So the cigarette butts, they will be around for many years. They eventually turn into microplastic, which is just, you know, bad for the environment. I think I read on National Geographic's that cigarette butts are the most littered item in the world, and every year at least 1 trillion cigarette butts are discarded just as litter. And so yeah, we want to keep that number low. And then we have one here. We're just going to take a walk, and so I can show you more areas that we would want to focus on. Here we have another one. So around the barbecue areas where people picnic, that's also a spot where we're going to find a lot of them. Here we have one. So after we conduct the cigarette butt cleanup, we go back into our office, and we end up counting how many cigarette butts we ended up finding. The highest number in any area of any of the parks here locally that we've participated with was during a Texas Say What youth conference, and we ended up picking up close to 5,000 cigarette butts. So here we found 2. Like I said, a lot of the leaves here, they do hide some of them. I'm not going to really go through in detail and finding all of them. Again, this is just showing you guys more or less where it is that you can find them. While we're doing the cleanups, we do find paraphernalia for other drugs. We found broken pipes, lighters, we've found rolling papers, we found right now with electronic cigarettes being used so frequently by people, we found discarded e-cigarette cards, we found actual broken vaporizers. And so again, this is just part of the community. Kids come out here and play. We do want them to be safe. We don't want them, you know, coming across anything that they might want to put in their mouth or, you know, try to use. Here we see that he has more. So again, I'm just going very, you know, basic walkthrough. I'm expecting here in this park, before I leave here right now, I am going to probably find at least 100. Although if we come out here with a youth group and we actually comb through the area, I wouldn't be surprised to find 700, 800 cigarette butts just in this area. We have actually tried to work with UTRGV, the University of Texas Rio Grande Valley, and we've been working with them for about 4 years now, talking to them about their tobacco policies. With their policies, the goal was to not let students smoke on campus. One of the reasons, besides the health hazards is that we didn't want all the discarded cigarette butts just being thrown around. As a former student, I remember when I was walking through the halls, especially going into the library, you would see all the cigarette butts just discarded all over the place. And so we ended up doing our first cigarette butt cleanup, I want to say about 4 years ago. When we went out there, we ended up finding 1,300 something cigarette butts just in the library area. That was just in the library area. We didn't get to do the whole school, the whole campus. And again, on that time, we had about 5 or 6 middle school students with us. We didn't want to overwork them, obviously, since they're volunteers. But we did, again, pick up close to 1,300 cigarette butts just in the library. And so we recently went back after UTRGV put their tobacco ordinance. They became a smoke-free campus. When we went back, we ended up combing the whole campus. This time we did have time to do the whole campus. And the whole campus, we were only able to find 70 cigarette butts. So that is a drastic decrease. And again, in the whole campus, including the library where we originally found 1,300, we only found about 70 cigarette butts. So the ordinance is working. Students are, becoming more aware that they shouldn't be smoking on campus, and then they shouldn't be discarding, their cigarette butts. So the reason why I chose this park is that I actually skateboard, and this park is known for its skate park. It's a brand new skate park. I have seen when I come out here other people who skateboard, they do smoke, and so I had it in my head always that I want to do a cleanup here so we could show the people that are here smoking, the patrons, the skaters, how many of these are discarded. So we're going to take a walk toward the skate area, and I'm going to specifically look at the one spot where I see a lot. So around this area, I always see people just sitting here, and I mean, they're just here smoking, obviously discarding the cigarette butts. So on these, just so people can maybe get a closer look here, these right here, these are still cigarette butts. These are when they are actually, it looks like they're decomposing or they're biodegrading, but they're not. This happens when the city comes out here and they cut the grass. It just, cuts up the cigarette filter. And actually that's what this is, by the way. These are the cigarette filters. These are actually supposed to make a cigarette safer, according to the tobacco companies. They don't do that. Cigarette filters, I mean, it's really not doing anything. It's supposed to catch the tar from when the smokers are burning the cigarette, but it really doesn't do that. So it's just kind of like a placebo, it just makes them feel a little bit safer. But again, as you can see here, it looks like it's biodegrading. It's not. This is just when the lawnmowers are out here cutting them up. So what happens is these get cut up and they get put back into the soil, or like I said, they turn into microplastic, which is just little beads of plastic that are just going to be there, for a long time, many years. I think I've read that they could be up here up to 200 years before they biodegrade. So yeah, we definitely don't want these on the ground here. You see. So after I've done this again, I will count them. I will post. We'll post a follow-up post showing how many we did end up collecting today. So here's an example of one that's already been, cut up a couple times. So that is still the filter of the cigarette butt. It doesn't look like a cigarette butt anymore, obviously, but this is still a cigarette butt here. And again, some of them do blend in. Some of them do blend in with the foliage and all the leaves out here, so it might be a little bit tougher for people to find when we come out here. So just in this area, I've already found 3, 4, 5, 6, just in this little area here. again, I'm not going into detail, I'm not combing through the grass. Obviously there might be way more out here. Again, just another example of the decomposition of these. These are two. Now, the reason why a lot of people probably discard these is that it's just been like a cultural, you know, norm that you just smoke, you just toss it. I've gone to people's houses, right, relatives that are smokers, and you look at their front porch and you just see a bunch of these littered, right? And they don't even bat an eye, right, that there's actually garbage littered all over their houses. But again, maybe culturally we just don't see these as garbage, right? We just became so used to them. But again, they are garbage, they are litter, they're not good for the environment. See, I just saw a couple more here. Just again, while we're doing a little bit of the cleanup, we could talk a little bit also about, you know, tobacco facts. A lot of times, myself as a prevention specialist, when I go out into the schools and I'm, you know, trying to do a presentation on substance abuse, on any kind of drug, sometimes I pitch the idea of, hey, can I do a presentation on tobacco? I've had teachers and even counselors tell me, well, why tobacco? Tobacco is not a drug. And so the perception, just because it's legal, right? Because you can purchase it at Walmart, you can purchase it at Stripes, just it makes it seem like it's not as bad or it's not a drug. But tobacco is very addictive, and tobacco is actually the #1 cause of preventable death here in the US. If you combine all the deaths from car accidents, you combine all the deaths from alcohol abuse, you combine all the deaths from suicides, you combine all the deaths from AIDS, you combine all these, and tobacco is still the #1 cause of death. And so, you know, it's part of our job to educate the community, tell them, you know, that this is still an addictive substance, this is still a drug. And so, you know, it's very important just to remember that just because we grow up, you know, our grandmas, our grandparents, our uncles, our parents smoking, that doesn't make it safe, that doesn't make it okay, that doesn't make it normal for us to smoke. I did spot quite a few. So then, this little area, like I said, I'm pretty sure I'll find more if I, you know, go into a little bit more detail looking for it. What we're gonna do is we're gonna take a walk over to the pavilion area, and that's also just to show like the rest areas. People here, they come exercise, and I think I just saw one in the track. So people come here to exercise. At this specific park, there's actually exercise equipment. There's little stations all around. I did see quite a few cigarette butts when I was walking. So obviously people are here to work out. This has no place here, right, where people are working out. You know, there wouldn't be any of these littered inside your gym. So we're gonna take a walk over to the pavilion. And as we're going, I'm gonna be, you know, just picking up the ones that I do see here. Again, there is going to be quite a bit here. So again, it doesn't take too much effort when you come out here. Like if you guys have students, right, kids that are students, young adults that want to participate, join any kind of movement or join any kind of cause, we do have 2 youth groups within the valley. One of them is based here in Farr, the other one I believe is out of Harlingen. And so if you guys do want to have kids or even young adults participate, we would love to have you guys out here. We will post a couple of links in the follow-up to the youth group We will organize these once, you know, life gets back to normal. We will try to organize more of these. There's obviously a lot of parks in our area we can clean up. It's not really too much work. Being honest with you guys, I have seen some students, you know, when we pitch the idea of a cigarette butt cleanup, they're like, oh, I don't want to pick up trash. I don't want to go around, you know, picking up other people's, you know, dirty things. Once the kids come out here, right, a lot of times they're, you know, in the middle school age, they end up loving it, right? They end up, oh, sir, you know, there's 5 here. Oh, there's 10 right here, sir. Oh, look behind this trash can, sir. There's all these. And honestly, it does make a lot of people feel good, you know, to help out the community. You know, even on these hot days, right, you're sweating, you're picking up trash, it does make you feel good. It does, you know, bring positive impact into the community. So let's keep walking. If we could ever get there, right? Because I keep finding some as I'm going. So again, I wouldn't be surprised that there's, you know, at least 800, close to 1,000 cigarette butts out here. Pretty sure right here we're already getting close to the 40s, 50s. So again, it's just a closer look at one that still has, you know, the paper and then the filter inside. Just to give you guys also a little bit more, I haven't really found a full cigarette. Sometimes we do find cigarettes here that still have a little bit of the tobacco left in them. But let's just say this was, you know, a cigarette. A lot of people don't know that these actually are fireproof, a lot of them. As you see on the white, right, where the tobacco is at, they do have little lines that if you look at a cigarette closely, you will see little lines. Those lines, what they are, and if I find one, I'll show you guys. With those lines, what they are, they're, it's called FSC, right? Fire safe cigarette. And so on that, it's little lines of glue that if the person, let's say this is somebody that's smoking, leaves the cigarette on, they have to keep actually using the cigarette for it to stay lit. If they don't use it, that glue, once the fire hits that glue, that cigarette will automatically turn off. And that's just, you know, as a safety precaution, you know, when people would fall asleep with a cigarette in their hands, or when they throw them right into dry grass or anything, that's just to prevent fires from starting. So again, just all this area could include cigarettes, right? People could sit on this rock. People could sit on these rocks and smoke and, you know, throw their cigarettes. People could be walking this trail, throwing their cigarettes. And actually, I didn't get to comb this area, the workout area, but I'm pretty sure we will find some there too. One, and actually there's another one right here. And again, as a reminder, I'm pretty sure there's more here, you know, hidden within the grass. We're not gonna stop right now and look at that. So this is the third one that we found here. Actually, there's a dollar bill here. Sometimes you do get lucky, right? Dollar burgers. I will make the proper paperwork and submit it for lost and found to the city of FAR. Don't worry, guys. So let's go ahead and go back to the picnic area. I'm sorry, the pavilion area. So again, on the trails, when people are walking, they are smoking. I've actually seen people running, right? They're running, then they stop, and they'll bust out a cigarette, and they start smoking. And so, you know, you're trying to be healthy, but then you're also smoking. So again, just common sense on things like that, guys, when it comes to health. Especially around trash cans, you will find a lot of cigarette butts, just because some people do try to throw them away. Sometimes they, you know, they don't make it into the bucket. So around the trash cans, there are quite a bit of cigarette butts at times. And then again, some people just don't make an effort, right? They just smoke, boom, throw it on the floor. That a lot of parks are going to be having their areas closed off, right? This is just to prevent, you know, gatherings and, you know, promote social distance. You will see that around the playground areas, they are closed off, like the actual play places, the slides, the basketball courts. They are, you know, off limits to the people right now just because of the contact. If you guys have any questions or any comments as far as like what, you know, how to get in contact with us for the youth group, or how to, you know, how we can help you or assist you in conducting these, feel free to leave comments and we will get back to you. And the same thing, we will post a follow-up post, you know, with a little bit more information of what it is that we actually found and how it is that you guys can contact us, you know, for any kind of help for services, right? Once the world gets back to normal, you know, we can help you for sure. You know, if you want us to go in and do some activities at your children's schools or your kids' schools, if you have any kind of program where you're working within the community and you want us to assist you or you want to assist us, again, we are a nonprofit agency here at Behavioral Health Solutions. We're always willing to help community partners, and so yeah, feel free to reach out to us. Around the barbecue area, there usually are some as well. So here there's actually quite a bit. I mean, I'm gonna try to count some just so we can kind of see. So there's 3, 4, here's 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. So this is just 15 within 4 foot area here. So that's 15. Again, I hate to keep saying this, but if I were looking more specifically, right, trying to dig out some of them, there would be way more. Also going back to the, you know, obviously we're in a public park here in FAR. Most of the parks do have guidelines on tobacco smoke. A lot of them are supposed to be smoke-free. There really is not much enforcement, right? Because you see, like, you know, 10 people smoking. It's very hard to flag them all down. And so when Tobacco Prevention and Control Coalition, which is now based out of Willacy, when it used to be originally here in the Ottawa County, when that organization started, originally there was only one tobacco ordinance in the whole county. And so by the time they finished, there was 17 new ordinances. And so again, just the positive impact, the promotion of, you know, tobacco free, and just again, we're here in the city of FAR. We do want the areas to look clean. We do want the areas to be safe, right, for children and for, you know, adults that are out here working out. And so yeah, thank you guys, you know, for joining us, for coming out here. Again, there will be a follow-up post. We will count how many we ended up finding overall. I'm gonna hang around here for a little bit more, since it's just me and myself right now, like doing the cleanup on myself. I don't expect a high number, but again, when we do come out here in groups and we do come out here with, you know, 8-10 people, we do get into the 500, you know, 1,000 count range. And again, if you guys have any questions, any comments, feel free to reach out to us, and we will for sure get back to you guys. Thank you guys so much for joining us. Be safe.